It is the music panel. This is going to be amazing. I've seen some of their interactivity that they're going to create with you. So without further ado, I'd like to call to the stage Warren Ringham and J.W. John Williams. Come on down, gents.
Hello.
Warren, how are you doing?
I'm good. Yeah, how are you?
Good, good, good. You calling
Really
W or am I?
So I will call him right now. Let's get him on.
Question is what did he sign under? By the way, oh, there he is. Do you want me to pull him in?
I'm just doing it.
Lovely. And just so everybody knows, there's a whole operation behind the scenes of pulling people in for questions. It can be a bit dodgy, but we're doing our best, and I think it's going well. And that's the end of the 5-minute countdown. So Warren, I'll leave you to it. And
Cool.
Just for your panel, I did get just the tiniest bit of vodka for this. Not that I need it, but I figure it's the right choice.
Fantastic.
Oh, you know something?
John,
I'm going to get John pulled in. There he is. Hold on. He has to get permission. There's an added security. One of the reasons we went with Demio is because it is by far the most secure platform. So hopefully right now, JW is accepting. All right, guys.
Gentlemen,
I'll leave you to it. Good luck, gents.
how you doing?
Hey.
Hey, what's happening? I'm doing well.
How
How
you
you doing?
I'm good. I'm
Good,
good.
man.
I'm good.
Yeah, excited.
After you.
Oh, you start, man. What are you talking about? Oh,
Well,
man,
hi
I love
everybody. So really great to see you. We've got an exciting hour in store, I think. Slight change if you saw our advert. We are not going to give our top 5 cues. We were talking about this last night, and we thought one of the questions we get asked most is what our favourite soundtracks are. And the top 5 soundtracks list that we thought we'd give. So we're going to spend about sort of 10 minutes talking about our top 5 soundtracks, which I don't think either of us have actually revealed in a kind of top 5 way ever, really, have we? People ask us what your favourite one is, and it's always like, oh, it's this one or that one, depending on the day.
Yeah.
But we're actually going to give our top 5. This is just our opinion, by the way. This is not what we're saying is the best top 5, just what our favourites are. But then we're going to open it up. We've shortlisted 15 cues from the series that we think are among the most iconic, and we're going to open it up to the people watching to decide which of them is the most iconic from the series. That's not your favourite. That's the one that you think is the most iconic. And hopefully the 15 that we've picked will cover all of that. So, yeah.
Excellent. I'm so excited because I know we're going to disagree, which is going to make for great viewing.
Absolutely.
I love it when I disagree with you, Warren.
Well, why don't you go first then with your 5th place soundtrack?
Excellent. Excellent. Now, I want to be very clear about this. These are my favorites based on what it is I listen to the most often. So if I'm honest with myself about what soundtracks I listen to the most often, my number 5 is Spectre.
Whoa. Now, straight away, you've kicked me in the ghoulies there.
That's going to start some shit.
So what is it?
Yeah, I love
Come on,
Spectre. I love it. I just listen to it all the time. I don't know. I can't get enough of it. And if you're a fan of Spectre and you're a fan of Thomas Newman, I definitely want to hear from you and have a good conversation with you. I love that soundtrack. I just sort of forced it on myself and listened to it nonstop. And now I listened to it this morning. There's something about it I absolutely love. So my number 5 is Spectre. Warren,
Cool.
Let's hear it.
Well, my number 5 is A View to a Kill. A couple of reasons. For one, it takes me right back to my childhood. A View to a Kill was the one film that I remember we had on VHS, and my sister and I watched it all the time. So the music has that kind of emotional connection for me anyway.
Yeah.
But I also think the themes in it are absolutely stunning, and I absolutely love the music in A View to a Kill for sure. Yeah.
It's a great soundtrack. Number 4, my number 4 is Quantum of Solace. It's my favorite. Yes, it's the one it's going to be number 4. I know I'm starting more shit. I listened to that one nonstop, and I just heard an interview with David Arnold, and he said that he thought that was his best, and that he was disappointed that he wasn't able to come back for Skyfall because he felt like he was just getting into the groove for Daniel Craig. So he's a big fan of it, and if it's good enough for David Arnold, it's good enough for me. So that's another one that I listen to, and I feel like is a complete album. It's not a couple of cues. It's start to finish, just like encompasses, encapsulates like the whole vibe of an album. So my number 4 is Quantum of Solace by David Arnold. Warren.
So two of your top 5 aren't even John Barry.
Hey, that's what I'm here for.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's its own opinion, isn't it? So, number 4 for me is The Living Daylights. Absolutely love that soundtrack. I think the two that I've picked so far, 4th and 5th for me, the one sort of negative I think for them is that they do have a bit of repetition within them, particularly actually A View to a Kill. There's things like Wine with Stacey and Bond Meets Stacey that are basically the same track, and He's Dangerous kind of comes up a few times. And there's a little bit of that in The Living Daylights. If There Was a Man gets used quite a lot. I think Ice Chase gets used a couple of times. But anyway, absolutely love the soundtrack in this, and I also love the modern for the time elements that Barry brings in. So it's one that I love listening to.
Absolutely, that one's so good. I got a comment. I'm reading some of the text, and I love someone just told me I've lost my mind.
I've got to say, man, they are too controversial.
I lost my mind. You're damn right. I've lost my mind. That's very cool. Okay, number 3. You Only Live Twice. I can listen to You Only Live Twice nonstop. Fight at Kobe Docks, The Death of Aki, Nancy's theme song, I think is amazing. Those strings. I think if you asked anyone in the world to hum, anything from James Bond, you'd hear. Da, na, 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 na. There's my humming debut, by the way, globally for everyone. So that one's the one that it just always finds its way on. So You Only Live Twice for me. That's number 3. And Scott has just told me that my mind is back. I love it. Thank you, Scott.
Yeah. I got to say, and Twice isn't in my top 5, but I do love it.
What? Jesus. Yeah. All right. Next time I'm writing the set list or cue the music. What's your number 3?
Well, number 3 is an absolute doozy. It's Moonraker, actually. And for a long time, Moonraker was my number 1. And it slipped down a little bit, partly because the other two are ones, well, one of them jostled with Moonraker. We'll come to it in a minute. But it slipped down a little bit because what I find with Moonraker is there's some amazing moments, but I don't think it's amazing all the way through. I mean, no, it is amazing all the way through, but it isn't as amazing as the two I'm gone with in second and first. I absolutely love the Moonraker soundtrack. Some stunning cues in there, some fantastic space music, classic Barry at his very, very best. And as everybody will put comments, I'm sure it's such a shame we haven't got a more expanded version of the score. That the masters haven't been recovered from wherever they are. I'd love to see and hear that come out.
Yeah, no doubt. I think we're going to get that one day. That'd be great. It's a little dream of mine.
I hope so.
Cool. Yeah. All right. Number two. Now, my number 2 just got bumped out of being number 1 for about 2 decades. My number 2 is Thunderball. Was my number 1. So, yes.
It was your number 1 last night. It was your number 1 last night. You sneaked.
I know. But I have to be honest with myself about this list. And during quarantine, there's a new number 1. So number 2, Thunderball, I can listen to it. I love the expanded. I love all the additional tracks. I mean, it almost is like that soundtrack takes you on holiday. So there's something about it. I just love the underwater. I love the dreaminess. I think it's probably Barry's, as an entire soundtrack, I think it's his finest hour, more so than Majesty's. There goes listenership right down the toilet. You know what I mean? So number 2, Thunderball. Warren, hit me with it.
So number 2 for me is Majesty's. I think 18 months ago, Majesty's possibly wouldn't have even come in my top 5, which is, when I think about it now, is appalling. But having got so involved with Majesty's last year with all the events surrounding the 50th anniversary, and obviously doing 20 minutes of music from the films at His Gloria, I just totally fell in love with it. And it's probably almost pushing for number 1 actually now. I think previously my dislike of the sort of string music, the da 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 da, I always found that quite dated, and you sort of put me off my overall opinion of it. But I've managed to get past that now, and the rest of the soundtrack is just stunning, absolutely stunning.
Yeah, I mean, that's the number 1 favorite, I think, whenever we do the poll, Majesty's. Right on.
Yeah.
Number 1, my new number 1 that I cannot stop listening to day and night, especially during quarantine, expanded edition, obviously, is Diamonds Are Forever. I think it's John Barry at his most relaxed. I think he is just in total control, and he's feeling no pressure, and he just comes into like a well-oiled machine. And there's something about the Diamonds Are Forever soundtrack that is my new number 1. Shirley has beat out Tom, and I can't get enough of it. So I just think it's fun, it's playful, it's got the drama, it's got the loungy. I keep seeing that word too. 2 things I keep associating my name with here in the text.
I think you coined the phrase for that.
I know, is everyone saying Loungy Bond and Gary Barlow. Thank you for that, by the way, I think. So that's my number 1. Diamonds Are Forever. Put it on right after Operation Phoenix, folks. Let me know what you think. Warren, what do you got?
Yeah, I've just got to answer Diamonds as well. It's coming up really fast for me because obviously with Diamonds Are Forever 50 coming up next year, I'm kind of looking to doing some music from that. In fact, we're in the process of transcribing the entire score to possibly do some score performances next year to mark the 50th, which would be really cool. So, and actually, the more I listen to it, the more and more it's growing on me. So, I probably listen to Diamonds like you most in this lockdown. And I think we should also just say, because I'm seeing lots of comments coming up here, that this is our favourites. This is not what we are. I don't know how you feel about this, but this is not necessarily what I would sort of class as the top 5 best.
No, it's not the best. No, we're not talking about the best here. We're talking about our favourites. For sure.
Although clearly my top 5 is the best.
Joe, I love Joe. More comments. The weed in California. I love it. This is
so
great.
my number one, because we're going to move on to cues in a second. So my number 1 is, you've already mentioned it, is Thunderball.
Nice.
I don't see it ever getting knocked off top spot for me.
Nice.
It's for me, coming from such a classical orchestral background with my dad and my family, everything else. I've seen so many orchestral concerts and I've played in orchestras, and it's the most symphonic score from the whole series. I think it's probably the biggest orchestration of all the scores in the series. And although it doesn't necessarily have some of the more memorable themes and chase musics of some of the other scores, I think it's the one that sets the darkest scene. And again, accompanying the underwater stuff, John Barrett is absolute best. So I know you and I are massive fans, and I'm a bit gutted because last night when we talked about this was our joint. Both of us had this at number 1, so I thought that was we were going to agree on something, but no.
No. I see in the comments that License to Kill is getting a lot of love. Ooh. Interesting. Did not see that coming. Huge Michael Kamen fan, and as you all know, and most of you know, I'm a big fan of Dirty Love. Can't get enough of that. Warren, you guys played that. I love that. I love that you guys took on that track. I got more messages when you guys first debuted that. I said it was the middle of the night here, and my phone exploded. And I thought, oh my God, my work is done.
Nobody texts me; they just text you.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's good. Trust me. Oh, that's funny. We need to hear from all these people. This is incredible. I know.
So what we're going to do now then, we're going to reveal, because of the way the polls work, we can only do them in blocks of 5. So we're going to do 3 blocks of 5. People have the opportunity to vote on those, and we're going to open up for people to come on, maximum of a minute, to argue for what they think is the most iconic cue from the series. Now, just to reiterate, that's not the their favourite. It's the one that you think is the most iconic, and to qualify, it has to be a non-title track. So anything that appears over the opening titles doesn't count. So if Q Branch is there, could you reveal our first 5 shortlists? So this is the most iconic ones from this first 5. We've got another 10 to come up shortly. And what I'd like to do, we'll just let that kind of populate and see what comes out. And then we can invite people on to come and argue if they want to argue.
Yeah, for sure. There's so many good.
What,
sorry we can't get to everyone's questions. I feel kind of bad. There's all these good questions. People want to ask questions. So please, we want to hear from you guys on this poll.
Just to explain further, what we can do, the top 1 from each of these 3 polls will go into a final poll.
According to Q Branch, it looks like a landslide.
Oh, it does, doesn't it? 007 so far. Most iconic. The thing is, because it comes up several times as well in 5 different films, we'll leave that poll. People want to keep answering. Let's put a question. If anyone wants to come on and argue for their most iconic cue, it doesn't necessarily have to be one in this 5. If you can just put a question mark or say, I'd like to argue a point. Is Chris, British Bond addict? Let's get him on. Can I do that, Dave? Are you going to do that?
Who did you just invite?
Bunch?
Excellent.
Chris, I haven't invited him yet, but I can do. Chris at British.
You can invite him, and then I'll allow his camera and mic.
You, Chris. Chris, where are you?
You know what? I can do it if you like.
Chris's. Yeah, I just can't find him.
No, I got him.
There's so many different.
Chris said British Bond addict. Yes.
Cool. Oh, there he is.
I got him.
Yes, please.
Sure.
I'll let you do it if you're there.
It's my job.
You're doing a great job.
I'll line up some people as well.
Oh, Jack.
Yeah.
Hey, it's Chris.
All right.
Remember you guys from last time? I had to get back on you, see?
Yeah. Excellent.
So,
how you doing?
I think the point I'd argue is that 007 is like, it encapsulates the most kind of dreamy aspect of Bond. It's the dashing hero moment. The first time I hear it from Russia of Love, he's saving the day. And every time I hear it personally, I can't help but think of like being the hero. Now, of course, in the books, he's an anti-hero. That's what he's meant to be. In film, it's kind of skewed. Like he's kind of like the dashing, etc., etc. And I think this sums it up best. It starts off beautifully with the brass, like quite nice and subtle. Then you get the strings, and then you get the big bombastic finish again with brass, but slightly more. And there's no more songs I want to hear in most. Like I'd love for that to be called back again. Like as you say, it was in so many Bond films, and even the one in Moonraker, much slower, but still very good. I can't really think about how it can be beaten. For me, it's as iconic as the actual the James Bond theme itself. And for those of you who haven't heard it, Roland Shaw did a cover back in the 70s, I think. It's a little bit more in your face, but very good. Can't recommend it enough. And for me personally, it's the most iconic piece of Bond music, honestly.
Yeah, it's a really hard one to cover, actually, because I've looked into doing some sort of modern narration of it, and it's very difficult because a lot of the other ones have like a short statement, or they have a riff that you can kind of adapt into it. But with that cue, it's like a really long line that goes over the course of about 40 seconds. So it's very hard to do it in a more modern way because everything's so much more choppy and kind of little blocks of music now, rather than those long sweeping themes that John Barry.
And also I find as well.
I think that's why.
Sorry, you go.
I think that's why that it hasn't really been brought back.
And also I find as well the bass line, the bom 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 bom, doesn't actually work too well with percussion. With percussion, it sounds kind of out of place, and it's really it's beautiful when done right, but it's so easy to get it done wrong.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for coming and arguing that point.
Thank you.
Yes, I'm getting. We're getting the next person up momentarily. And did we just lose Warren?
I think we did. Let me see here. Let's take a. Is Warren going?
He'll be able to come back. I've got faith in him.
There he is.
All right. So we have coming on. We're requesting his camera and mic. Is somebody you may recognize? It is Bill Koenig.
Oh, Bill.
He should be there momentarily. The steps up to the stage are very long and very dangerous, so it takes people time.
Yeah.
Yes, Peter, I'm a big fan of Basie Meets Bond. For sure.
I'm
It's a
here.
great
I just
album.
enabled the camera.
Bill, are you there?
Oh, pretty good, JW. Warren, how's it going?
Oh, perfect.
In terms of
Hey,
Q,
Bill,
I
how
have
you
a
doing?
sort of contrarian example, and mine is
All right.
Alpine Drive
Hey, Bill,
from
good to
Goldfinger.
hear
It's
you.
a little bit of a cheat because it's obviously based on the main song, but it's an example of how the main title song can be integrated to the score and actually serve in the storytelling. Because that's the sequence where Bond is driving the DB5 and the Mustang passes him, and he's tailing Goldfinger and all that. And I think that's a really great example of how you can take a title song and integrate it into the main score, and it serves storytelling. Last year I was on a podcast. We were made light of how in Dr. No they kept repeating that James Bond theme track. But of course what happened was that was like done at the last minute. And Peter Hunt, he only had that track to do. And Peter Hunt's not a musician. He's a film editor, and he had what he had. But essentially what Hunt was doing was what composers like Smith and Schifrin and John Barry do, is when they have a theme and they integrate
Bill,
it into the score. Last year I got
We're getting Bill on this
couple
side.
of, TV soundtracks that Goldsmith did, and he did them both. I went through that whole spiel and nobody heard me. Are you guys getting me or not?
Whoop, Bill just cut out a little bit.
I think I
No, we
dropped
heard
off.
most of it, Bill. Just towards the end, you got cut off a little bit. Yes.
Guys, can you hear me? Sorry.
I didn't hear anything.
Can you hear me
Did
now?
John?
Okay.
It's choppy. It's
Bill,
choppy.
can you hear us?
I was just saying at the end, last year I
We're
got a
talking
couple
Yes, we can hear you, Bill.
Your
of
love for it,
TV
the way
soundtracks
they
that Jerry
bring in the
Goldsmith did.
theme.
Yes.
We all agree on that. That'd be great if they did more of that, right?
Sorry about that. Yeah, I can hear you guys fine.
No, I can't.
Bill,
hear
I
Bill
think
anyway, to be honest.
it might be your connectivity.
Bill,
Yeah.
type that question. Yeah.
So anyway,
I think the fact we haven't got it on our list actually.
like I say, it's a
John and I had
contrarian
the
choice, but I just wanted to pass it
debate over
along.
The last few days, because the initial shortlist was about 40 cues long, and we had about 6 from Goldfinger. And Jay,
I think it's a strong call. It's a great choice
Definitely.
for sure, especially for the iconic list. It's up there.
Yeah,
Warren and I
Yeah.
arm wrestled for it.
we did. Yeah. Thanks ever so much, Bill. I
Yeah.
must say I'm struggling to hear you, but it's great to hear you. Great to hear the bits I
For
did
sure.
hear of your voice.
Nice.
Should we have somebody else on
Yes.
key
Yep.
branch?
We're
at all?
going now.
Let's
Or
see.
I can, if you're cool.
What about Julian?
In fact, tell you what, key branch. Should we have the next poll? Because we're just looking time wise. We can always debate more of these when the three have
Absolutely.
come up. 007 has trashed the other one.
Here comes the next poll for those doing the polls.
So we've got to read them out while you're looking for Capsule in Space, Journey to Blofeld's Hideaway, This Never Happened to the Other Fella, Ski Chase, and We Have All the Time in the World. Now that was a bit of a controversial one, but it's not a title thing, and it does appear within the film. So we decided to call it as a cue, didn't we, JW?
Yes. Look at that. 4 on Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think the thing is, though, it's probably most people's favourite film in the Bond community.
I think so. People are crazy for it.
So who would you
So
say the
that's-
winner?
what's
Oh,
the
that's
key?
We Have All the Time in the World.
Yeah.
We Have All the Time in the World is, yeah.
That's
Just
beautiful.
sneaked it ahead of Ski Chase, didn't it? At the moment.
Yeah. I'll tell you, last go around, there was a listener who talked about how his daughter was born, and he, after at the hospital, got in the car to leave, turned on the radio, and the first song that was played is "We Have All the Time in the World," and he wept. And I'll tell you what, I wept at that story. What a beautiful story. I mean,
I had a similar one actually last year. We had somebody in the audience at Cue the Music who'd been diagnosed with cancer the day before the concert and had gone along, and they were really tearful during "We Have All the Time in the World." You know, that just hit a raw nerve for them.
yeah.
And the next time they came to the show a year later, he'd been given the all clear, and he told me this just before we were about to start
Jesus.
the show. And so I dedicated the song to him. It's a powerful song for a lot of people. That.
Yeah, and that's the thing about the music of Bond, not to take away from any of the other panels, but, you know, I just think that it's like music is so important. I mean, you know, it's like poetry of the air, you know, the impact that music has on our lives. I mean, it's just, there's nothing better. So I love that we've got this group of people who
I think we've got another person that wants to argue with you guys.
All right, let's do it.
I don't have
Let's
to argue, but I was honestly wanting to know your guys' opinion. Who would you guys rather have seen as an other composer out of the Barry era from, like, you know, let's see, say Hamlish, Bill Conti? Who would you guys like to see other than, or no, who would you like to see out of them more than just the one film that they did?
JW, you go first.
I'm a big fan of For Your Eyes Only. I think Bill captured the spirit, captured a lot of things with that soundtrack that bring a smile to my face. So of all of them, that's who I would have loved to have seen come back and continue on. I mean, I honestly think they're all pretty amazing. I mean, there's only one that I would have not liked to see come back. But it's a good question. So
Who's that?
Forget about. I'm not saying anything. Who would you like to have come back? Forget about what Warren and I think.
I'm totally all for Bill Conti or George Martin.
Yeah.
I love what George Martin did, of course, with Roger's first film, and especially the gun barrel music. It was fantastic. It delivered that punch from the beginning, and especially when he enters New York. And also, I'm going to just say, I could have gift wrapped Skyfall's album and just gave that to you as a Spectre track.
Woo! Oh man!
So
all right, first round is on you.
If you give it to me as a gift, I'd have given it back.
Thanks, gang.
man.
I appreciate it. It's good to see you all on here.
Bring it on, folks. Come on.
Oh, that's brilliant.
That is funny.
Right, who's next?
We're going to be
All right, next up.
we're pulling in Mr. Jack Taylor. He'll be on very shortly, gents.
Jack Taylor.
Gentlemen, how are you? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, here we go.
Yes.
Thanks for taking the question.
What's happening, Jack?
I just want to say, I think it's kind of preposterous. 11%. This never happened to the other fellow. That's always been my favorite track on the whole album. And it's very, very strange that it's only got 11. I think if you're talking objectively the most iconic, 1 is the gun barrel music. 2, it's got the Bond theme in it. And 3, I believe, Warren, correct me if I'm wrong, that's the Moog synthesizer, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is that right? Okay, yeah. And I've always just kind of looked at that track as kind of like a time capsule almost from 1969. I think that is so of its time, and you don't hear that kind of stuff today. And to me, that kind of brings me back to the music, how it would have been back then. Obviously, I wasn't alive back then, but I think that song is so iconic, and that's the one that gets my blood boiling the most on that whole soundtrack. I know that's a very unpopular opinion, but
Jack, I'm in 100% agreement with you. When we had all the cues from Majesties, that was the one that I wanted to choose. I just wanted to have 1 track per album, and I'm with you 100%. I think it's the most iconic piece of music, and just, you know, it just sets the stage for what's to come. So I'm with you on that.
Yeah,
Total
the
agreement.
thing
Warren,
is-
Mr. Q, the music. Let's hear from you.
No, I agree. I do agree. I love the track. I just think it's the whole thing around Tracy and Bond's relationship, and ultimately, obviously, Tracy's death, that makes We Have All the Time in the World have that emotional connection with people. So I really expected it to get the percentage it did. But we're interested to see when we put the three together, 007, We Have All the Time in the World, whatever comes out of the last five, which one comes top. But I wasn't surprised to see this one come out on top here, although it was quite narrow.
Yeah.
But I do agree with you. You can't deny that. I think everybody in the group would say that this Ramsey Other Fellow is incredibly iconic.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's tough. It's tough picking one. But that's what we wanted to create some debate.
Yeah.
Exactly. And the great thing about
Totally.
this is everybody's going to have different answers, top five. Like, John, as much as your top five shocked me, that's the beauty about all this, you know. Yeah, nobody's going to have the top five. And you want it, there's no right or wrong answer, and you like seeing the variety. So I appreciate you having me on. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Good to see you, man.
Good to see
Gentlemen,
you.
we have quite a queue of people. The temperatures are rising. There's I don't want to say that the crowd is getting angsty, but
Should we have the third poll before we do?
May I make a request, Q Branch? There's so many dudes. I mean, can we, in the name of equality, could we hear from maybe a female listener? Is there someone that I'd love to get a woman's point of view on how I'm right and Warren's wrong?
But thank you for asking. No.
Okay,
I will hunt for a.
Pick somebody.
I will hunt for a female. And while we do that, I think Warren mentioned something about the next poll.
Yeah, let's have the third poll, because once all the answers are up,
Because then the temperatures will really rise. So poll number 3 is up. Please participate in poll number 3.
So we've got Just a Closer Walk with Thee, Scaramanga's Funhouse, Bond 77, Flight into Space, and The Name is Bond, James Bond from Casino Royale. Again, this was so hard. The original shortlist was double this length, and we'd have been doing polls for about 4 hours if we hadn't shortened it. So if there's not one on here that you want, it wasn't through, it was very hard to
send emails to Warren. That's all I'm going to say. If you have a problem with this list.
Yeah. I will check it. I will set aside a time to check it. It'll be Mondays from 9 a.m. to 9:05.
Perfect. What are the results? What do we got? Who's winning?
So far,
Landslide.
it looks like Bond 77 actually, which I expected that to do that. Flight into Space, I thought would be a bit closer. So the final poll is going to be between Bond 77, We Have All the Time in the World, and 007. So I think we should open up to people that want to argue for which one they think should win overall.
Okay, we have Shamir on board.
Hey guys, how are you doing?
Hey Shamir, how are you doing?
For me,
doing good.
In terms of the cues there, the first group, I mean, yes, 007 is quite iconic, but I went with Into Miami only because we heard that once, and 007, we've heard it in multiple movies, so that's why I went with Into Miami, because it was such a tune that was like from yesteryear. You just want to go back to a time where you felt like it was all really nice and really relaxing, kind of vacation type music, and just away from all the problems that we're dealing with right now and everything. So that's why I went with that. But question that I have to ask you guys is that if you could choose one rejected song, quote unquote, to replace with one of the actual title songs that have been in the movies, which one would you go with? What would be your top choice? Thanks.
Good heavens. Just not making it easy on us. First off, love Into Miami, and I think it's the one cue that the entire community agrees on.
Yeah.
Everybody loves
It would be
Into
most
Miami.
people's, it would be a lot of people's favourite, wouldn't it?
Number
Jacob?
one. It would be, I agree, yes. Warren, why don't you handle that question first?
I would say, I mean, is it a rejected song because it got used? I'd probably say Surrender comfortably.
Yeah.
That's a bit of, I don't know whether that falls between the cracks of your question technically, but I would say that's probably my favourite track that wasn't used at the front end of the movie. Another one that I really do like is No Good About Goodbye, which again I know is not a rejected track. So again, it's I'm maybe not really answering the question properly, but other than that, I would say all of the rejected songs that I've ever heard, none of them I particularly favour over the ones that were chosen, but not even close actually. There's some really interesting stuff to listen to, and it's actually interesting just to see what else is out there. But there isn't anything that I think, oh, that's a shame we didn't use that.
Yeah.
And I see somewhere on the chat the Spectre one, and I'd have packed in Q Music if they'd have gone with that choice, the Radiohead choice. Can't stand it. I would never would have refused to have played it on the shows. That's how much I dislike it.
Oh man, I'm.
What about you?
I'm gonna real quick. I'm gonna say I think I'm answering your question. You know, the one that I kind of like that it's interesting to listen to is I like Blondie's "For Your Eyes Only." I don't know, that sort of early '80s new wave is dear to my heart. So I kind of dig that song.
I'd probably go with.
But what's yours?
Surrender, or I'd probably go with Lorraine Chandler's "You Only Live Twice." I know that might be an unpopular opinion there.
Oh yeah. No, I do. I like that. You're right.
It's your opinion. It's popular with us because it's your opinion. Don't have to agree with it, but it's your opinion. So
yeah. None of them should replace, right? I do. Yeah. If someone's bringing up the Johnny Cash Thunderball unto itself, it's an interesting song. Couldn't be more wrong.
Song.
Yeah.
Gentlemen,
right,
we're
Let's
queuing up some more
here.
people. The queue is long. I mean, it's almost like they're waiting for toilet paper during COVID.
How about,
but I do.
How about Jessica?
I'm going to hit Jessica, but real quick, the really innovative people at Q Branch have created a poll on the fly of the best cues of these three that we are sharing right now.
God, pull up my pen.
And the answers are coming in fast and furious.
Oh, so we're going to have the winner.
God.
I tell you what, they're pretty neck and neck. 007's pulling away.
It's like a horse race.
007's got to win. Come on, 007.
Isn't it?
That's it.
Bond 77's putting up a good fight. Oh, no, it's disappeared now. 007.
Good. There's a lot of smart people out there.
And it's hard to fight against 007 just because of the amount of times it's been in the films. You know,
Still
it makes
good.
it iconic. Yeah.
They should have played that
absolutely
during the Spectre car chase.
What do you, Jacob? Did you ask that question? What do you think about it coming back in a modern film? Would you like to see that?
I'd love it. I think it would be great. I think it'd be
How
fantastic.
do you think they could use it? Because it couldn't just use it the way it was.
No. I mean, it'd have to definitely be updated. And I think Newman would have done a great job. And who knows, maybe we'll get it from Mr. Zimmer. Zip it.
Don't hold your breath. Don't hold your breath.
Zip it. For your ears only.
Zimmer's going to be Newman Part 3, I think you'll find.
Yeah, I hear you.
All right, we did try to ask Jessica on. We made an attempt. I will find somebody of a female persuasion, but in the meantime, we do have somebody.
Not the first time.
We do have somebody that is really kind of burning to be on here and to kind of argue this out. Hold on.
Hi.
Keep talking amongst yourselves, guys. I
love somebody who's burning to be on here.
Yeah.
You know? Oh man.
Yeah, I the 007 thing. I just think.
Oh, there's Jessica.
To bring it up to
I don't know if I did.
Hey, Jessica.
Jessica.
Hi. Okay. Good.
How you doing?
I don't know. I see me. I don't know where I am.
Oh,
don't know.
All right. So wait, hang on. Your favorite soundtrack is Goldfinger. The theme song.
Poor Jessica keeps coming in and out.
Yes. Oh no. Well, she brought up Goldfinger, and I'm surprised we haven't.
I can hear her voice. I just can't see the camera.
Okay. Well, that's a shame.
Hey.
All right, Jessica.
Jessica, we got you. You're on.
Keep talking.
It's gone again.
Chris, may I please ask a question that isn't arguing the polls? Cheers. Chris, you're up next. Okay, she loves Goldfinger. That's what I think her number one is.
What,
I mean,
Did
iconic.
you
I'm
think she meant
surprised.
the soundtrack?
Yeah, well, I'm surprised people don't talk about it more. Like it is. I mean, talk about iconic just in general. Oh, there she is.
I see it now. Can't hear her.
No, we can't hear it. Okay, hang on. I love Goldfinger. Shoot, my camera's not working.
Can anybody read lips? All right. Jessica's having some connectivity.
JW, Eric, Sarah. All right,
Let's
no
try
worries.
another
It was
one.
great
Let's
to
try
see her,
another
and thank you for bringing up Goldfinger.
Yeah.
We got
I've
Chris.
so John, neither of us had it in our top 5.
No, not at all.
I love
It's
it.
not.
I mean,
I'll say something controversial right now. It's my least favorite Connery film.
what film or soundtrack though? Which my soundtrack?
Oh, that's tough. I can. Yeah, I don't know. That's a good
love that
question.
soundtrack.
It's
I
not
love
up
that
there.
soundtrack.
Yeah, you do. I know.
I've-
You're not a
I've
big
got-
fan of
I've
From
got-
Russia. Hang on.
Here we go.
She's back.
Speak really fast. Oh, she's got
Chris,
it.
Chris is dying to ask a question here.
Let's bring in Chris. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the finest
Chris
example of Bond funk in the series? Tom Sears.
Oh my
Tom,
God.
let's bring in Tom.
I think
mean,
Tom.
I'll
Bring in
bring-
Tom. He's the man who.
So
the
Tom
red
can
funk.
jump
Tom,
on
I'm
whenever he
bringing in-
likes. Go ahead, Tom.
Tom, come on,
Go on,
jump
Tom.
on. Let's see it. Let's hear it.
Yeah, you got me in. You got me
Mr.
instead.
JBR.
I am not. I
We-
look nothing
close.
like
We got
Tom.
Murray.
That's not Tom.
That's not Tom.
Oh, right, Barry.
Look at. Listen, I like that poster in the background. Loving it. I want to talk to any man that's got a Spectre poster in their house.
Oh, he's
What's
gone
going
again.
on here? Q Branch.
Oh, I'd love to blame. I'd love to blame Q Branch.
That's him.
Hold on a sec, guys.
Tom, if you're there, jump in for a second. Say hello if you're.
There he is.
Can't hear you, Tom, but we can see you.
I can't hear you. You know Tom's going to want to
Oh.
say something off of Live and Let Die. $100 says he's
What's
off,
going on?
off Live and Let Die.
Yeah. Or for your eyes only.
You can hear
For
me.
your eyes only, I think it might be a
Sweet.
shout.
I want to
Yes.
hear. I want to hear what
Go on,
your
Tom.
opinion is
There
the
he
greatest
is.
There he
example of
is.
Bond funk. You go first.
Yes.
There we go.
All right. Well, go on, John.
Well, we want to know what yours is.
I mean, I mean, you know, the track from the
baby.
downhill
Yeah.
ski chase from For Your Eyes Only. I
Runaway.
mean, I told the story. My iPod was on shuffle. It came on at the worst possible time, or the best possible time. It was the shortest 4 minutes of her life. I mean, seriously, that is just great funk to me. That downhill ski
Beautiful
chase
stuff. That's a solid choice.
scene in music and For Your Eyes Only. So I love it.
I'm going to say the
You're gonna
entire
say
Live and Let
something
Die
from,
soundtrack. The
yeah,
whole
you're gonna
thing
say
is the
something
finest
from,
example
Live
of
and
Bond
Let
funk.
Die,
But if I had to
right?
narrow it down to one tune, I would say it's Bond
Yeah.
77. That gets my vote.
Yeah. Warren, that's
Yeah.
your favorite too, right?
No, it is. I have to say, at the moment, I am absolutely digging the whole For Your Eyes Only soundtrack, and it's because of you guys' podcast that you did on it,
Yeah.
which was just the
It is too
funniest
powerful.
podcast I've ever listened to from JBR. I think it's brilliant.
It's too powerful. That's the quote.
But you also laid down the gauntlet to cue the music to do some of the tracks from there, and we're sort of working on some stuff at the moment, and so I'm constantly listening to Gonzalez and what's the other one I've listened to? Driving the Country, and there's another one as well. And yeah, I've constantly got them on when I'm out running and stuff, and I'm really looking forward to doing them. There's some absolute filthy funk on that soundtrack.
Yeah.
So yeah, anything from Bond 77 or
Beautiful
anything
stuff.
from Live and Let Die and For Your Eyes Only. But
Yeah.
yeah, Bond 77 overall, I think.
I love it when we on the show give you a recommendation. Like it's just it's that easy. Hey, could you just learn to play this song, please? And then when it shows up on the set list, I know Tom and I always die laughing when it shows up on the set list. Like,
But
oh
look
my God.
how well it goes
Beaten
down,
into
though, man.
submission
When you
with
do
30
play it,
enough to
it
do
tears
that.
the roof off the place,
From
you know?
JCR fans. No, it's brilliant. I love it. It's Carrie and Matt's favourite tune.
Yeah, I think in the audience, you know who the real Bond fans are. You know what I mean? There's no like casual Saturday night, let's go here, cue the music. You know who the Bond nuts are when you
Tom,
rip into
what
those
was-
deep
what-
cuts.
Oh no,
What
it
was the
was
reaction
not.
like
You would
at
imagine it
Israel
would
last year when
be
we did,
the
Dirty
Majesty's
Love?
theme or
roof just
something
went
like
off,
that,
didn't
but it was yeah, that was the one. It was just the whole room. I had about probably. I had probably 20 people
Yeah.
come up to me separately and be like, "I wish
It was
JW was
everyone,
here, man. He'd have loved that." Yeah,
Damn
what
it.
a beauty.
Damn it.
All right, shall I leave you fellas to it and
fun.
stop hogging the chat and making it
Oh,
comfy?
God. Excellent.
We
Yeah.
do have a couple people. We've got a
for
nice
coming
queue
on.
of people that have
Let's do
lined
it.
See you
up.
later.
Let's
So-
do it.
Oh,
Trust
cheers,
call.
Tom.
You're right. Bottoms up music. Love that too.
Yeah, Trespassers will be. That's amazing. I love that track. I'm doing.
Yeah,
We're working on that one at the moment as well. Cue the music.
We got a nice lot of.
Okay,
nice
we've
questions
got
here.
Wiley approaching the stage. Wile E. Coyote.
Wiley.
Wiley.
Yeah, I think I'm in trouble.
Hey.
How you doing?
Oh, he's got a legitimate mic.
God, that mic is out of control. I love it.
So I'm a very, very, very recent Bond fan. I watched all the movies for the first time and did a whole series called James Bond First Watch of going through each one for the first time.
Congratulations, dude.
So certain things that stood out to me were like Bond 77. That really struck me. And then For Your Eyes Only also struck me. But because I'm a recent fan and I've seen the movies, but there's only like 3 soundtracks that really hit me. I want to know, as you guys are experts, because I really want to get into this, I want to know, like, what is the next step down the soundtrack route that I really should just listen standalone from the movie that I could really enjoy and get my hands into?
Ooh. Well, I think speaking for both of us, and JW, you follow up with me, but I think if you picked us jointly, the one soundtrack, probably Thunderball, I think, that we both agreed on as the overall. Because I think it's the most cinematic, symphonic score of the series. There's so many other great ones, but a lot of the other ones, especially soundtracks anyway, can be a little bit bitty. Things like Goldfinger. It's an amazing soundtrack. I love it. Some of the cues on there, some of my favourites from the series, but it is quite a short soundtrack. Thunderball, I think, is the most rounded, fullest soundtrack that's just got so much to dive into.
If someone said, where should I start? I would say get 3, and they're right in a row. Get Thunderball, You Only Live Twice, and Majesties. And then give us a call in a month.
I will agree with you. Thomas Newman is my favorite composer ever. So I completely agree with you. Like I
finally met you.
Okay.
I'm going to use the word love.
If you guys haven't heard 1917, that is the best score of all time, in my opinion.
No, I have.
Right?
I have, and it's amazing.
You heard it,
It's
Warren.
amazing.
Listen to this man and speak in sense.
1917 turned my opinion around on Thomas Newman. I think he's phenomenal on that. And I went straight on social media afterwards and said, wow, that is an amazing score. Especially set to that film, it works so well. I just don't think he worked brilliantly well for Bond, in my opinion. I think he missed the point of a Bond soundtrack, in my opinion. But I love the fact that you love him, and I respect that, and good on you. And
I love it.
Sitting down and watching Bond films for the first time ever would be amazing to wipe the slate and just start all over again.
Do it.
Amazing.
That's cool. Yeah, that's great. Make sure you go back and watch them again with the commentaries from the Blu-ray. They're fantastic.
Yeah, I definitely want to do that. It's like
that's
Roger
great.
Moore is my favorite Bond, and that was surprising to me. And like just going down them, and Joe Darlington, if he's still watching, that I coupled every single one I watched after like his little reviews that he did, and then I found all you guys through all this, and it's just been one of the best experiences of my life, just going down and finding all this fandom, and it's incredible, and this community is incredible. So I want to thank everyone for watching, even the fans.
Thank you. That's
been amazing.
Great to have you
That's
on board. Really
wonderful to hear that there's a new generation coming up. So thank
Thanks
you
for
for
joining us,
listening.
man. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Hey, Jen, unfortunately, Q Branch has detected a rogue agent in the area, and we are going to pull him in. You may recognize him. We'll see if he can turn on the camera and everything. We're allowing him in. against our better judgment, but he should be coming up here shortly.
It's Thomas Newman. If it's Thomas Newman,
They'll let anyone in these days.
Hey!
Hi, Warren. Hi, JW. Great to see you.
Hey.
Great work you're doing. Fantastic. I won't take too much of your time. Great work, David. The phoenix has risen from the ashes. Guys, I want your advice. John Barry is dead. We can't replace him. David Arnold doesn't seem to be coming back. Who would you get to record the score for a Bond film apart from Hans Zimmer when they reboot the series with a new James Bond? Who's going to do it apart from Warren Ringham? Or even you, JW?
I really was excited to see what Dan Romer would have done. I think it would have been something interesting. It would have been, I don't know. I'm ready for somebody completely different.
Yeah.
So I was really excited about him coming on board, just as a curveball. Popular composer, though, I think Michael Giacchino could crush it. I think his work that he's done everywhere, but especially the way he took the helm from John Williams on the Rogue One soundtrack. I'm a real big fan of that. So I would go with, if I was, they had called me and asked me, I would. That's who I would go with.
Okay, that's cool. Warren?
Yeah, Michael Giacchino, definitely. I'm a fan of the Rogue One film score as well. But I mean, there are parts of it I'm not massively keen on, but he did it under incredible time pressures, and I don't think he gets the credit he deserves for that. I've seen certain people are quite critical of it, and actually, to step into John Williams' shoes and do that, and actually do it on a really, really short time period. It was on incredible pressures. I think he did a really good job, and it's a way better score than Solo for me. So yeah, and then also obviously Incredibles, fantastic.
Star Trek. I mean,
why does a Bond composer?
AJ, real quick, you look like an extra out of Thunderball right now. I swear to God, like
my glasses are broken.
I'm loving this look.
Thank you. Why does a composer not help compose the song? What happens in modern composing? They hire a composer and they don't integrate the song in. What's the rationale, do you think, behind that?
I think it's purely down to the commercial thing of getting it. But what we have to accept as a community, and AJ, you'll know this more than me even, is that the Bond songs have moved away from being about what we want as Bond fans as a Bond song. It's now purely a marketing exercise. We don't have to like it. We don't have to agree with it, but we're not going to have to accept it. And Billie Eilish's song, probably in this group, is extremely unpopular. However, it did exactly what it was supposed to do. It smashed it.
I love it.
Money-wise. Yeah. I like it. I really do love it as a song. As a Bond song, it's good.
Love it.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for doing this. Thank you, David. One thing, Warren, you're wrong about the Radiohead song, but apart from that,
oh, I love it.
I defer to you, Warren.
I'm going to sleep so good tonight. I'm sleeping good tonight.
Cheers.
Oh man, Chris has been wanting to.
I understand. First of all, there's 19 Chris. No,
okay,
JW, you're one of the better agents, and you should know that. But more importantly, gentlemen, you literally have 3 minutes. So I would love some
3 minutes.
Parting and closing words. You'll definitely come back for the last session of the convention, but you have 3 minutes to finish this up and give final words.
I want everyone to type real quick what your favorite soundtrack is of all time. Just put it up. Type it up, and let's just see what people. Spectre sucks. Okay, that's a bit harsh. Moonraker, Majesties, License to Kill, Thunderball.
Yeah, favorite. This is favorite.
Living Daylights, Majesties, Goldfinger, Majesties. Good heavens, look at that. Never Say Never Again. Oh, I want to party with whoever that is. Casino, Tomorrow Never Dies, getting a lot of love. Wow. Skyfall,
any Golden Eyes?
Only. Love it. See, this is what makes and any Golden Eye in there. Eric Serra, fan #1. Let's hear from you. I love someone's name is Aki. Oh, whoever you are. God bless you.
I think they were participating in the drinks panel a bit too much.
Yeah, I know. It's a tough act to follow the drink panel. All these.
Yeah.
Well, this has been great, guys.
It has.
Thank you so much. Sorry we couldn't get to all these questions. I feel bad.
It's important to remember John, it's important to everyone to remember that, especially with this subject as well as all the others, this is just opinion. It's everybody's got their own opinion. Music brings out a different emotional reaction in all of us, and that's okay. Own it. Own your opinion and enjoy it, and that's fine. But allow everybody else to have theirs.
I think it's important to note that Warren and Cue the Music Show, they have all the time a lot of different online experiences. I'll call them that. Where they actually engage the Bond community, sometimes even on a weekly basis. So make sure you go to the Facebook page and look at that. They always have something that's going on there and some really interesting things going up. And John Williams, he's a standard. I'm not going to embarrass him about his voice, but Calvin Dyson was quoted as saying that when John Williams speaks, his voice is so velvety and so hot that the butter in my refrigerator melts, end quote by Calvin Dyson. I'm just saying. But John is a standard and regular on James Bond Radio, but he's become an entity to himself and is actually guest hosting on a lot of different social channels. So John, keep up the great work, both of you.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Calvin's butter.
Thanks for having us. Real pleasure to be here.
You're Calvin.
Thank you, David. Thank you for doing this. Lots of love to you guys.
You guys are welcome. And as we say goodbye to these gentlemen, the 5-minute goes up so everybody can use a bathroom, get a drink, find something to grab onto, maybe even use the bathroom. Imagine that. So we'll be back. Thanks for watching this episode. If you want to be up on the latest from the Bond experience, just click on this subscribe and subscribe to our channel. You're going to get all the latest and greatest information, plus some exclusive content. And by the way, speaking of content, here's something especially for you, just because we know you. Talk to you soon.